I watched this video about Gen Z and employment, and it seems like younger Gen Z individuals are just not handling stress as well as previous generations. They might seem confident, but it's all just a facade. It's worrying.
That's a pretty harsh take. Just because some younger people struggle with stress doesn't mean they're incapable. It sounds like you're just out of touch with the real challenges they face today.
But isn't it clear that either Gen Z figures out how to handle stress better or they end up as permanent job hoppers? If they keep switching jobs every year, they'll never gain the experience needed for more demanding roles.
That's a dangerous precedent. If we continue to view frequent job changes as a sign of weakness, we might end up creating a culture where people are discouraged from exploring new opportunities, which could ultimately hinder career development.
So, if they're quitting jobs because they don't like confrontation or company culture, aren't they just avoiding real challenges? How can they expect to be taken seriously if they can't handle the basics of workplace conflict?
I wouldn't call it avoiding real challenges. It's more about finding a better fit for their skills and values. The traditional job model is shifting, and it's not about avoiding work, but about seeking environments where they can thrive.
Expects immediate raises and recognition, despite having limited experience. Isn't it a bit unreasonable to expect employers to bend over backwards for them just because they're part of a new generation?
Just because there's a lot of buzz around Gen Z's expectations doesn't mean they're unreasonable. The whole idea of work is evolving, and many are simply advocating for fair treatment and work-life balance. It's not about demanding special treatment. It's about adjusting to new realities.
But with all the talk on social media about things like quiet quitting, isn't there a risk that these new attitudes could make workplaces less productive? It seems like a trend where everyone is just doing the minimum.
Social media might amplify certain trends, but it's not necessarily reflecting a negative shift. It's more about adjusting the traditional expectations to better fit the current work environment. Ignoring these changes might lead to more frustration and disengagement.
The consensus seems to be that Gen Z's approach to work is different and may be flawed. Doesn't that suggest we should be wary of these new trends and focus more on what has historically worked?
Following the trend of criticizing Gen Z doesn't automatically make it valid. It's important to address their needs and adapt to modern work practices instead of adhering to outdated norms.